Well, folks, the USPSA boycott effort has definitely been picking up steam over the last couple weeks. So much so that USPSA, specifically the managing director of USPSA, put out a statement, and this is pretty rare for them. This might, yeah, I don't, I think it's been a while since we've gotten anything. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, get some reactions. Um, but I mean, I'll just put the headline right up front. I'm pretty sure that this is just going to pour gas on the fire. So let me go ahead and read it. Dear USPSA members, when a member is elected to our board of directors, they agree to act in the best interests of USPSA at all times. This includes not sharing confidential information and communications between board members with third parties, especially those intent upon damaging USPSA. When information intended to be kept between board members is leaked and posted on social media, it fosters distrust that has a chilling effect on board discussions and causes the board to be less effective, which harms the entire organization. After a series of emails were leaked and posted on social media last year, we reviewed our legal responsibilities to the board and our members and started an investigation into the matter. The board agreed to what was considered an extreme but necessary step of taking polygraph examinations. All non-employee board members except Area 7 Director Frank Rizzi and Area 3 Director Scott Arnberg took the polygraphs. Everyone who took the polygraphs passed them without signs of deception. We also undertook additional measures to uncover the source of the leaks. A forensic investigation concluded that Scott Arnberg was the source of one of the most recent email leaks, which was posted on social media to embarrass another director only minutes after Arnberg received it. At the December board meeting, Mr. Arnberg admitted to regularly sharing other presumably sensitive and confidential emails and information to third parties during his time on the board. After reviewing the results of the forensic investigation, hearing from Mr. Arnberg, and considering the irreparable damage done by the leaks, the board carefully deliberated and determined it was necessary to exercise its authority to remove Mr. Arnberg from the board. The removal is final, and Mr. Arnberg is ineligible for reinstatement to the board under the bylaws. The process for the removal of a board member, the number of votes required for removal, and finality of the action as stated in the bylaws has been reviewed by several law firms on behalf of USPSA over the last few years and found to be legally compliant. Additionally, after the vote to remove Mr. Arnberg, Area 7 Director Frank Rizzi and President Yeeman Ling independently inquired into the matter and received confirmation from Delaware Nonprofit Council that the board acted appropriately and the necessary number of votes were cast for removal. We understand that many members, especially those in Area 3 who were represented by Scott Arnberg, feel disenfranchised by his removal. There's no question that he has been an amazing asset to USPSA. He is a great match director, a dedicated range master, and has been a great supporter of USPSA over the years. His removal as Area 3 director has come as a shock to many. This unfortunate event should not diminish Scott's contributions to USPSA over the years or the reason for his contributions, which is shared by many, our love of USPSA matches at all levels. However, considering the harm that has been done to the organization by the leaks, the board felt Mr. Arnberg's removal was in the best interest of the organization. The board is healing from the damage that we sustained. Oh, oh my God. The board of directors and USPSA staff hear your concerns and are carefully considering USPSA's path forward. We look forward to many great things to come. One thing that we ask is that you tune out the social media disinformation campaign and join us in focusing on keeping USPSA the premier shooting organization in the country. We look forward to seeing you on the range. So now there's a lot you can say about that. If you're up on the facts, like I'll put it this way, I would argue with pretty much every element of this. Like I'd say, like, I don't think Scott's leaking anything. I think you guys are nuts, which I do. Um, and there's just so much. Like the timeline is wrong. Like there was leaks before Scott was on the board, like years before he was on the board. And now that he's not on the board, the leaks have continued. Like the whole thing, you just think looking at this like this makes no sense. That in but in the context of what's happening, like there's dozens of clubs that are withdrawing support for USPSA, going to withhold the money. They're going to withhold the activity fees from USPSA because they're mad about this. This to me is just pouring gas on the fire. They're saying, "Hey, no, we're not putting Scott back in. That's not going to happen." Shit. And you look at it and you're like, "Hey, man, are you guys going to remove Frank next because he didn't want to take a stupid polygraph test?" Is he going to go next? I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see what they do. Um, but I mean, I think the really good stuff comes at the end. They say, hey, yeah, we admit it. Scott is great. He's great, but it was the best interest to remove him. And yeah, just tune out social media. Don't watch that. Social media is bad. That's a disinformation campaign. You just keep going to matches. Obviously, I don't think people are going to accept this. This has been reshared other places. And I'll just we just go through, read some comments. Like, this is just bilge, and she knows it. Just another reason to replace her when the time comes, hopefully sooner than later. Next comment. The board is healing from the constant stress of screwing everything up. If they'd stop screwing up, they wouldn't need to heal. Next comment. Board is healing. WTF does that even mean? Don't send these losers another dime. Next one. What did Scott leak that caused irreparable damage? I can actually answer that. What they accused Scott of leaking, and this is true by the way, was a two-sentence email, which I don't think it was covered by the confidentiality policy, but it was Bruce Six saying he wanted Matt Hopkins investigated for being complicit in the leaks. And I think he wanted also Matt Hopkins' USPSA membership suspended. That's true. He put that in an email and sent it. I don't believe that's covered by confidentiality. And I don't believe that Scott leaked it, but that email apparently was not good for Bruce Six's public image. I wonder why. Okay, another guy, another comment. Harm done to the organization by the leaks. Yeah, that's what did it. Sharing the emails. I believe it. Hi, org. Do you have a bridge to in Brooklyn you could sell me? And it's just they're just getting slayed in the comments. Like this. Well, I'm going to talk about something else. You know what? I think I should talk about this. You would maybe think this is the type of thing that you should do and not talk about. I think I should share this. On Monday this week, me and a few other people, we had lunch with Leighton Uthausen, the Area 2 director. That's right. I sat down. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. It's not believable, but it is true. I assure you. It's like a 3 hour lunch. Um, Now, why would Leighton want to have lunch with me and Joel Park and Kay Lane, Mason Lane? Like that's who was there. I think they're really looking for an off ramp here. And yeah, it wasn't a surprise. Like he knew I would be there and everything. It was like okay. And I was the meanest person at the table. Definitely the rudest. Definitely the meanest. Everyone else, like the other people, I guess, who were on my side, were far more restrained and way more diplomatic than me. And I definitely antagonized Leighton a little bit. But we did have lunch. We did sit down and talk. And just his demeanor, like during that and just talking to him, I'm not surprised reading this kind of stuff from the USPSA managing director. It's like this is where they're at. Like in their heads, like, yep, Scott had to go. Oh, whoa, we got a protest. Like they don't really understand what's going. Like, oh, like people are protest, but Scott had to go. He's leaking the stuff, and it's like, yeah, people don't agree with you. They're not accepting that. Um, yeah, and they're looking for a new Area 3 director that's not going to upset these people further. So it's like they've worked themselves into a position here where I think desperate is fair. I think they're just trying to solve this problem and like they don't really understand the scale of the problem that they've created. That was really the big takeaway from talking to Leighton. Like honestly, like they just said no. Like these guys are like clueless on the fundamentals. Like one thing that came out in lunch with Leighton was he thought that like they crushed my business by kicking me out of the sport, and I was like, no, dude, you helped me. I'm doing better than ever. Like it was great marketing. Like it didn't hurt me. And like this was like you could just see this like they don't understand this stuff. So like when I read like this type of communication from the board, like, oh yeah, that's social media. That's disinformation, guys. You just turn that off. Like that is so counterproductive to say that. This makes people want to read the disinformation even more. But again, it's like these they don't really see. And again, like that was the big takeaway from Leighton. Is just like no, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get why people are mad. He's like not going to do that or like, that kind of stuff. Like there's a total lack of understanding, and I don't see that really changing, but I do appreciate that they're getting desperate. It's definitely funny. Anyway, that's enough for now. We'll see where this goes.